Okay, it is 6 o'clock, and so we welcome you to the class of 2026 webinar. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. And we were in sophomore classes this morning and this afternoon, going over with students the same information that we're going to give to you so that you can help them, guide them in the process of making their selections. Next slide, please. So hopefully by now, your sophomore is familiar with who their counselor is. But again, for you to take a look, you can see based on last name who your student belongs to in our caseload. Not shown on this slide are our counseling secretary, Miss Emily Stevenson, and Adriana Talamantes. She is our guidance technician. Those are two very helpful people this time of year. They will often be able to answer questions for students, especially as counselors are in classrooms and meeting with students one-on-one. So please know that we're all here to help them get through this season. Next slide. Okay, so as I said before, counselors were in the sophomore English classes, and we walked them through how to select their junior year classes. And we told them at this point in time, we see them as rising juniors. So the class of 2026 really does need to get used to their new title. They are the rising juniors. Parents, hopefully they will show you how to navigate this because we made sure that each student knew how to make their selections and then knew how to go back and edit their selections. So when you go to the CHS website, and when they go to the CHS website, they will go to the counseling tab. They'll go to the counseling and career department link, and that will take them to this screen. You'll see also here that we have several links, one of which is our YouTube channel. And so anytime we do a presentation, including this presentation, which is being recorded, students and parents can always go back and review what we covered. We were in a classroom today that got recorded, or one of our classrooms got recorded. And so again, if a student was absent, they will be able to go back and actually see what was covered in their English class. So we want to make sure that you have access to all of the resources that we are making available. The next slide, please. So this specifically takes you to the class of 2026 information for rising juniors. So you'll see once you click on the class of 2026, the links that will give you everything that you need to know to really navigate this season. We'll have our course description book. We will have, might have found the webinar link on that site. Previously recorded IB webinar is there as well. So again, we have everything that you need on this link. Next slide, please. Now, one of the tabs that you will notice takes you directly to the course contract for the 24-25 school year. It looks like this. Students have to be logged into their CUSD Google account in order to submit and to edit their requests. So again, if your child was in class today, they've already gone through this process and they will be able to open it up again and make edits after our presentation. As we explained to them, and as you can see on this slide, the deadline to edit their course requests is next Tuesday, February 20th at midnight. So they basically have a full week in which to edit their responses. That's helpful because after tonight, they may decide to edit something that they, from what they chose in class today. Also, we're hoping the students will engage in discussions, perhaps with their language teacher and especially their math teacher as they're making some selections, and that will help guide them if they want to make edits as well. So it will be logged out. They will, this will close as a live form for them next Tuesday. However, students will be meeting individually with their counselors via their world history class, at which time we will do a credit check with them and we will give them a copy of their transcripts and we'll look at what their requests are. So even though their form will lock after Tuesday, we'll still be able to go in and edit things if we discuss with them and realize that there's some changes that that they may want to make at that point in time. Next slide. All right. So what we're going to do to start off our presentation, and we'll cover a variety of topics, but I'm going to give you an overview or a review of graduation and registration basics. So this hopefully isn't the first time that you're seeing information about credits. I think we started this discussion with students and parents when they were incoming freshmen down at El Roble. And basically, this is a reminder that every course that they take are worth 5 credits for most classes. There are some dual enrollment classes that differ, and we'll get to that slide in a little while. But every class is worth 5 credits. A D is passing, so A, B, C, or D will earn 5 credits. However, it will not be sufficient if a student is wanting to move to next levels. So we never encourage them to earn Ds, but it is valuable for them to understand the difference between a D and an F. An F gives you 0 credit, a D does give you 5 credit, but you will most likely not be able to move on to next levels, nor is that admissible for 4-year colleges. Cs or better are required for 4-year college and preparatory courses. And in fact, for many students who are looking at UCs, Cal States, private schools, they're going to realize that they really want to challenge themselves and push beyond a C. So Cs or better, and we emphasize the or better for 4-year colleges. Again, F grades get no credit, and the total graduation requirement for credits is 220. Next slide, please. So again, just a quick breakdown of where those credits need to fall. 220 credits are required, 30 of which come from social science, 40 from English, 20 from math, and that's including integrated math 1. They need 20 credits of science, 10 credits of either art, language, or career technical education, and then 20 credits of PE. This is how those 20 credits or 220 credits need to be earned. In addition to that would be electives that they take over the course of their remaining 2.5 years. Next slide. So what I'm going to do now, the next few slides, will break down those specific requirements. And you'll notice that we have the graduation requirements lined up right next to those college entrance requirements. So in our classes with the sophomores, we emphasize that as counselors, we're looking at a lot of things for them. We're not only looking at what it takes to graduate and where they are in meeting the grad requirements, but we're also keeping track of how aligned they are with meeting those minimum college requirements for admission, also known as the A through G requirements. If students are meeting A through G state college requirements, they are most likely meeting requirements or exceeding the requirements for many private schools. So A through G is a really good gauge for any student who's planning to apply to 4-year colleges. So the first requirement is the social science, or what the colleges call the A requirement. For graduation, they need to get through a year of world history, a year of US history, and a semester each of government and economics. For college, they simply need to get through world history and US history. So the government and economics that is mandatory for graduation, that kind of rolls over into elective, that G elective that we'll talk about in a few slides later. Next slide, please. So the second course of selection for students is English, which again is a graduation required course. For both graduation and 4-year colleges, students need all 8 semesters or 4 years of English. So they take that 9th through 12th grade. English is every semester, every year. And as juniors or rising juniors, they have a choice of selecting junior English, AP English Language Composition, or IB English HL. And I will say that later in the presentation, we will talk a little bit about IB, especially for those students who are thinking of full diploma. One thing to remember is that because they need 4 years of English, students must remediate any F grades. If they earn an F in English, they have to take it in summer school because they need all 8 semesters. Ds should be remediated for any student who's planning to apply to 4-year colleges. Next slide. So the next selection that they would make is their math selection, which is known as the C requirement. And in order to graduate from Claremont High School, students need 1 year of integrated math 1 plus an additional year of math. The college requirement is that students have 3 years of math, including integrated math 1, 2, and 3. So students and parents, when you are applying to college, for those students who did take integrated math 1 in middle school, there will be a way for you to signify that. So don't worry if you started CHS already having completed integrated math 1. That actually is a question that colleges will ask. Did you take an integrated math 1 course in your 7th or 8th grade year? We will always encourage students to take math every year of high school because no matter what their plans are, whether they're going to a community college, a 4-year college, military, the workforce, they're going to need math and they're going to need those problem-solving skills. So even though the minimum requirement to graduate is 2 years of math, counselors are going to encourage your students to take math for all 4 years. Now, when students are making their math selection on their course contract, they're going to notice lots of choices for math. And so we encourage them, especially over this week, while they are making selections and making edits, to maybe have a conversation with their math teacher, especially if they're considering an accelerated math course. A teacher would be able to give some feedback to the students specifically about how well they may fare in an advanced or AP or IB math course next year. Next slide. We're moving into the D requirement for college, or our science requirement for graduation. And you will see that in order to graduate, students simply need to have 2 years of science. They need to have a year of life science and a year of physical science. The college requirement is similar. They need a year of life, which is biology, and a year of a physical science, which would be chemistry or physics or AP or IB physics. Students having taken physical science as a grad requirement are going to need to continue on with another physical science for the college requirement. So physical science counts for graduation, but counselors are going to encourage any four-year college-bound student to continue to move on into chemistry or a physics type science class. Students, even though 2 years is the minimum requirement that colleges look for, we really encourage you to continue on with your science, especially if you're looking at four-year colleges. Selective four-year colleges would most likely expect that you're going to take science every year of high school. And also, if you're considering a science major, it only makes sense for you to explore different sciences, because we do have a wealth of opportunities for you to take science, different types of science classes at Claremont High School. Next slide. Physical education, you will notice, is a graduation requirement. We don't pair this along with the A through G requirements because colleges don't need to see that you've taken PE. However, all students need PE in order to graduate from CHS. There is a 20-credit PE requirement, of which many students have met or are meeting perhaps this year. There are different ways for them to fulfill that requirement. So in ninth grade, students should have earned 10 credits by taking freshman PE. And then they have grades 10 through 12 in order to earn their additional PE credits. So some students have noticed that they've already, maybe after their freshman year, they already had a surplus of additional PE credits because every season of a sport earns them 2.5 additional PE credits. So this is also a point in which I will mention that one of our new electives for next year is the offering of team sports. Team sports will specifically be for students who are athletes at CHS and who want to take a 6th period sports conditioning class. And so if you do have a student, or students, if you are athletes who still need PE credits, you may want to consider taking team sports, which you'll see on your selection form as an option, but it will be a 6th period offering. So those students who are requesting to have a 0 period, that is not necessarily going to be an option that you're going to be able to take because it is only going to be offered at 6th period, the team sports. Next slide. So another requirement is that world language and or visual arts, visual performing arts requirement. So to graduate from CHS, students need to have either 1 year of a language, or 1 year of an art, or 1 year of a career technical education or an ROP class. So students sometimes think that they have to have a language, a world language, to graduate. That is not the case. You can graduate from Claremont High School without taking a world language because, again, art or a career tech ed class can fulfill that requirement. But that is different than the college requirement. And so this slide is important for you to understand, because in order to be admissible to four-year colleges, students need to have a minimum of 2 years of the same world language. So that would be German 1 and German 2, or Spanish 1, Spanish 2, French 1, French 2, and a year of art, a year of visual or performing arts, of which we have many. So when students are in choir, photography, ceramics, digital art, any number of electives that fall under our performing or visual arts, that's fulfilling that college requirement for a year of art. Next slide. So the remaining requirement for college-bound students is a year of college prep electives. So this typically confuses students and families, but it's really probably the easiest thing to earn at CHS. There's no magic elective bank of courses. Sometimes students say, but I've got to take these electives. Just realize that everything that you take that's beyond what's required technically is an elective. Once you have taken beyond a year of art, that second year is an elective. Remember the economics and government that we need for graduation, but colleges don't require that? Econ and government then automatically becomes that G, college prep elective. So many of the classes that students take naturally, just because they're college bound students, are going to fall in that elective, G elective category. Okay. Next slide, please. So a few more details about electives, because what we discovered or what we talked about with students in their English classes is that juniors have lots of options. In freshman and sophomore year, there's a lot of telling them what they have to take in order to meet grad requirements. But what they recognize as rising juniors is that now they have choices. And that's why it's so important for them to understand how to make good choices, because they have so many choices. They're going to have space for elective options. So when they're filling out their form, we request that they please list their primary elective choice along with at least 2 alternates. The more options that we have, the better. We really do try to give students electives that they want. There are sometimes circumstances that prevent that. Sometimes there are conflicts in the schedule. Sometimes a class that they requested might not be offered in the fall. So again, if we have options, if they've given us elective alternates, then we can ideally place them where they want to be. Next slide. Now, when students are making their elective choices, they're going to notice that there are a wealth of dual enrollment classes at Claremont High School. And in many of the classes today, we ask students how many of you have already taken a dual enrollment class. And it was nice to see several students have maybe taken Art 110, or some of them may be taking a class right now. Some students have taken maybe a different elective that's listed here. So our relationship with Citrus College has allowed us to offer dual enrollment classes at CHS. These are classes that earn both high school credit as well as college credit. These are the same courses that a student would take at a college and would pay for. So it's a great opportunity. And this list just grows every year that we're offering more and more dual enrollment classes that students can actually earn college credit while they're in high school. We have some seniors who've taken enough dual enrollment classes that they're actually going to be entering college very close to sophomore status, just because they've accrued so many college credits already. Again, these courses are listed on our website under the elective catalog tab, so that they can actually see descriptions of what these courses would involve. Please note that our dual enrollment classes are semester-long options. So when students are making a selection for a dual enrollment class, they need to also be prepared to take another semester-long dual enrollment course to balance it out, because these are only 1 semester long, but they earn 10 credits, 10 CHS credits, and usually 3 college units or college credits. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to shift into other thoughts and considerations as students are planning and you're helping them plan for their junior year, because a successful junior year is more than just taking coursework. It's actually, again, is staying well-rounded, staying balanced, and staying organized. And so this is just a sampling of some of the clubs and organizations that we have at CHS. Again, colleges look for students who are well-rounded. They look for students who are whole and who are complete in lots of areas of their life, because they can find lots of students with strong GPAs, but do they have students who are going to add to the fabric of their college campus? And so getting involved in clubs and organizations is a great way for students to continue to grow themselves as individuals, to find their interests, to find ways that they can show leadership, and just to enjoy the high school experience. And again, students are typically do better academically when they are involved in things in an extracurricular fashion in high school. Some other things that we really want them to think about as they're making the selections are to ask themselves, what do I want to do after I leave CHS? I know that it might feel early to some sophomores to think I'm only in my sophomore year, but if you think about it, a year from now, they will be making selections for their senior year. And so it's going to get here quickly. And there isn't really one right schedule. Students will sometimes pick classes and they'll ask us, is this a good schedule? So much of that is going to depend on what's your goal? What are you trying to do after high school? So there are different places for them to start exploring where they want to go, what they want to do. We would encourage them to use the College and Career Center. to explore that's housed in our library. Attend local and national college fairs. We have a college fair on our campus every October. And so please, students who have gone to that already, please come again in October. You'll see it through different eyes now when you are a junior. Please do college visits, virtual and in person. It's very easy for you to see schools all over the globe now virtually. College representatives visit Claremont High School largely in the fall. Those visits are announced in the announcements and on Wolfcast. And so students are encouraged to sign up to actually meet one-on-one with representatives. Make sure that as you're communicating with colleges and universities that you set up an appropriate email and that you check your email. And also ROP classes are a great way for students to start exploring skills that they may want to further as career options later on. Now, every student at CHS has a School Links account. We'll talk about this with them every year. We talked about it with them last year, and they will hopefully be utilizing School Links a lot more as rising juniors. School Links is our readiness platform that CHS subscribes to prepare students for all the options that come after graduation. So there are different surveys and to-do list items. When they log on to School Links, they are instructed to do different tasks at different points in time to discover their interests and their strengths. They can explore different careers, different pathways. They can explore both 4-year and 2-year colleges because colleges differ and community colleges differ as well. Some are very large and some are very small. Students should explore to see what's a good fit for them. And again, we already talked about taking tours virtually and in person when possible, but School Links allows for those virtual tours. And there's information on School Links about scholarships and financial aid. So again, we encourage students to continue to use School Links as a resource to just explore their interests so that they have more options after high school. We talk a lot about our California community colleges because they are they're really a gift to students in California, and they're spread throughout the state. For CHS students, you have 3 very local community colleges, Mount SAC, Chaffey, and like we said, our partner school, Citrus College. There are so many reasons for students to really consider that as an option. Here on the slide, you can see some of the benefits of a community college. It's open enrollment in terms of it's easy to get in. You simply need a diploma or be 18 years of age. You can take dual enrollment classes, so you can start earning college credit while you're in high school. Many students are surprised to find out that there are honors programs at the community college level, and that helps accelerate or helps you to advance and transfer to 4-year colleges of your choice. And there are many certificate programs. Some students have discovered that the course of what they would like to do in terms of a career can be met right there at the community college. So again, please consider community college as one of your opportunities or one of your options after CHS. A little more information about community colleges. These are just some local certificate programs that are offered. So you can see on this slide which college offers different programs. So students who are interested in an associate's degree in nursing, Citrus, Chaffey, and Mount SAC all offer that. Culinary arts is offered at Chaffey College. A strong vet tech program, students who are wanting to go into animal science at Mount SAC. So again, this is just a sampling of many different career pathways and certificates that students can earn by attending a community college. So we will go in depth again next year when we're meeting with students in their classrooms, and we will have a junior information night for them next year. But we want them to start thinking about 4-year colleges or universities in 2 different categories. There are public schools and there are private schools. So just as an overview, just know that our Cal State and our UC systems here in California are our premier public university systems. Many states have public schools, so out-of-state public schools exist. And you'll get used to the term Western Undergraduate Exchange, or we call it the WUI, because you'll discover that there are some schools that are in kind of a Western region of the country that actually will allow our students and from California to pay in-state tuition if they are part of the Western Undergraduate Exchange. So just be familiar with that. Private schools can range from schools that are here in-state, out-of-state, non-denominational, religious. Students are very fortunate that they, again, live in a community where they can walk to some of the finest private schools in the country. So when we're thinking about the Claremont colleges, when we're thinking about Laverne, APU, these are all private colleges. Next slide. Again, this is just a comparison of our state schools. So on the left, you'll see the UC statistics, and on the right, some statistics about the Cal States. And students and parents, again, we will cover a lot more of this as we move through into junior year. But just know that there are 9 UC campuses. And there are 23 Cal State campuses. This just gives you an overview of what some of the minimum requirements are. I would say that any student who is wanting to be competitive for both UCs and Cal States, please recognize that those GPAs are truly minimums. And again, we're going to encourage you to appropriately challenge yourselves and push yourselves to do the best that you can, because those truly are minimums. And some of the more selective schools will perhaps seek a higher GPA than what's listed on the slides. Next slide. Private colleges. There are thousands of private colleges. And so please know that each school has its own admission requirements. So we encourage students to start researching now. It's really an exciting and fun process once you get going, and it's less overwhelming as a senior once you've started actually looking. And if you start that process now, you just get a head start in understanding the variety of schools that are out there. Again, meeting our A through G requirements for Cal States and UCs will often exceed some of the requirements for private schools. Next slide, please. Know that when students are considering college, that there are supplemental things that colleges are looking for admission. So again, your coursework is important and your grades are important, but they're going to also ask, private schools in particular will ask that you write essays. They will ask for letters of recommendation. So the relationships that you build next year with your junior year teachers is going to be very important, because that's the teacher who will most likely be writing your letters of recommendation when you are seniors. They're looking for the attributes that are listed here on the slide. They're wanting to see that you are well-rounded, whole individuals. They're looking for you to be pushing yourself beyond the minimum, but again, keeping in mind balance for your own emotional and physical well-being. And they will just look at a variety of different factors to deem your admissibility to different institutions. Next slide. So we encourage students to volunteer because, number one, it's really the right thing to do. We want you to be contributing members of your society now and moving into the future. Know how to give back to your communities. And so that starts now by knowing how to give back to your CHS community and your Claremont community, or whatever city that you live in. It's just a good thing to do. But indeed, volunteering does give you growth in terms of knowing your strengths, knowing areas that you're interested in. So students who have an interest in animal science, volunteer at Priceless Pets. Volunteer if you're interested in the medical field at Pomona Valley Medical Center. These are just, again, a sampling of places that are local that you may want to start looking at as far as where you can spend your time, especially maybe this summer, getting some volunteer experience. Even though we don't calculate that, some schools do, we don't keep track of your volunteer work, but we highly encourage you to start keeping track of your hours, so that when you're applying to college, that is a question that is often asked, especially for private schools. So before I turn this over to Ms. Zeber, I will say that, again, you have so many choices when you're thinking about colleges. You can consider community college, four-year colleges, public, private. Just know that there is a fit for you. There are many different fits. There's not one right school. So our goal at this point, as you are rising juniors, is to get used to the idea of looking broadly, so that you, when you are seniors, have a really good list of good fit schools for you, and not just the ones that you always hear about in the news or in sports, but really good fits for you. These are just some reminders of things that you should look at or consider when you are thinking about colleges. It's more than just a major, but think about where you want to live, the diversity of that institution, the size, the selectivity. And so again, we will walk you through many of these topics again, but this is a great time for you to be thinking about this. And with that, I'm going to turn this over to Mrs. Hebert.
All right, good evening. My slide is not advancing. This is not good. All right, types of financial aid. So, as you're exploring colleges, you will see that college costs money. It's not free like Claremont High School. When you're looking at the price of attending a school, that's what's called the sticker price or the list price. And the price that you pay for college will depend on many factors: the size of your family, your income, a situation at home that's changed the income flow. And we need to let you guys know that financial aid can be there to help you finance your school after high school. Financial aid comes from the federal government in the way of grants, as well as work study, which is a job on campus, as well as loans. Those are the least favorite, but they do help narrow the gap between what you can afford to spend and finishing your education. Financial aid also comes in the form of scholarships and private school institutional aid. And as you're looking at scholarships, keep in mind that they do look at the whole individual. They're looking at academic achievement represented by the kind of classes you take, as well as your GPA, as well as what you do in the community. So how you are as an active citizen is also very important. There is need-based aid based on family size and income, and then there is merit-based aid based on academic achievement, talent, potential of success in college. There is a feature on every college website called the Net Price Calculator that helps you identify the true cost of attending a particular college for you. And by getting a little piece of information from mom and dad or your parents, you can see what the net price would be for you for a particular school. And then fastweb.com is a great scholarship engine. And you could start using FastWeb now, and FastWeb will grow with you both in high school and as you go into college. It's powered by Monster. And by entering a profile, your unique characteristics, you'll answer a set of profile questions. You'll start to get regular emails about scholarships you can apply for. Sometimes devoting an hour or two to your scholarship pursuits can really yield some good amounts of money to help with your future education expenses. There will be a scholarship night at CHS. It's a webinar on Monday, March 11th at 6:30. It is again a webinar format, and Sallie Mae, which is a financial aid provider in the nation, a representative from Sallie Mae will host the event, and it's going to be a great evening to learn about how to get money for school. As you're exploring financial aid, know that the FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid, will be available for you when you are a high school senior. FAFSA helps identify federal aid, and as a California high school graduate, you will be eligible for Cal Grant should you decide to stay in California for your college education. Cal Grant works together with FAFSA, but if you go out of state, it would be the FAFSA. There's also a secondary form called the CSS profile that we'll talk about in the next year, which is a private school resource for financial aid. The PSAT is a test that some of you sophomores may have taken this past October. It's considered practice for the SAT. It gives you information on your skills in reading, math, and writing structure. It also opens up your access to a feature called My Big Future. And by using My Big Future, which is similar to School Links, where you can do college and career exploration, it's a great tool to look at all the options that you have after graduation. So if you took the PSAT, keep that in mind. My Big Future, you got an invite most likely right around December to use that feature. And that's available for you to use throughout your high school experience. The PSAT will be offered again in October when you're juniors, and it is the National Merit Scholarship qualifying test in junior year. Admission testing. So there are two admission tests in the nation, the SAT and the ACT, two different tests. Admission testing used to be nearly 80% mandatory across the board for US colleges and universities, but there's been a big push for test optional. The ACT is one test. It's 25% English, 25% math, 25% reading, and 25% science. And then the SAT is a different test, and it is evidence-based reading and writing and math. And you can choose which test you wish to take. That's your decision. Of schools that are test optional, some schools do yield a higher percentage of admits when students submit strong test scores. If you wish to take admission tests, you're going to be encouraged to do so in your junior year. And you can spend some time on Khan Academy, which has an excellent source of preparation for the SAT if you want to start to build those skills for next year. As indicated on this slide, over 3/4 of US colleges and universities are test optional, but certain highly competitive campuses, highly competitive majors, you can get a little advantage by having a strong test score to submit even for those test optional schools. There's currently about 15 colleges that are test required, but there is slowly emerging. Many colleges are starting to reinforce the testing requirement, but that won't apply for your class. We're seeing many colleges starting to reimpose testing for the class of 28. All right, IB and AP. We are so fortunate at Claremont High School to be able to offer the IB diploma and over 18 AP classes. IB and AP classes are highly rigorous. There's extensive reading, extensive writing. Students who take AP and IB courses have a weighted GPA for grades of C or better. And when you take an IB course or an AP course, you have the opportunity to take the accompanying AP or IB exam, so that those scores could be used to advance into college later on. They're not an admission test, rather they're more of a mastery test that colleges recognize as having learned the content in the course. All right. For the IB diploma, we are fortunate to have Ms. Allison Evans, our IB diploma coordinator here, who can also speak to IB. The IB diploma at Claremont High School has been in existence since this is our 12th graduating class with IB diploma. The diploma requires that you take 6 classes from 5 disciplines and either one art or a second science, as well as social science and language. Students who are interested in doing the IB diploma must finish 4 years of world language by senior year. Students must take a complement of 3 high-level courses between junior year and senior year, and 3 standard level courses by junior year and senior year, and take exams in each of those. So 3 high-level exams and 3 SL level exams over the course of 2 years. To do IB diploma requires also doing an extended essay. It's a topic that students choose in the spring of junior year, an idea or a research question that intrigues them that they write about over the course of several months. There is support from faculty to do the extended essay. And the second component also required is creativity, activity, and service for IB, and that can be school-related activities, sports, you're on Wolf Packet, you're in student council, it could be community service, maybe you're active in the community, but those hours and that spirit of volunteering is a component of IB diploma, which seeks to have a stronger community and helping one another through circumstances and through life. To do the IB diploma, you do not need to take the highest level in all 6 areas. At Claremont High School, the 3 HL courses are required, like everywhere, and we have predetermined that all IB students at Claremont will take IB English HL and IB Social Science HL because A, they fulfill graduation requirements, B, they're college admission requirements, and they mirror the requirements of IB diploma throughout the country. Students get to choose their third HL course, which could be in mathematics, biology, computer science, visual arts, psychology, or music. The 3 SL classes students choose, they must do the SL World Language class. That's the 4th year of World Language in junior year or senior year, and then select 2 more SL classes, and that could be in visual arts, computer science, sports exercise, environmental science, physics, psychology, or music. So there are lots of SL options here. Ms. Evans, is there something you would like to add about IB diploma?
Oh, thank you for asking. Nothing to add. Everything looks great, but it's a wonderful opportunity for students to showcase rigor, to showcase their talent. This is a diploma that is recognized worldwide. And if they even have a little bit of an inkling of studying abroad, it does allow them to be competitive with other students all over the world.
And Ms. Evans will have lunch sessions for sophomores thinking about IB diploma or maybe even IB classes. She'll be having a lunch session tomorrow, the 14th in room 105, and on the following Wednesday, the 21st. And I'll be there to also help Ms. Evans if students have questions, trying to see how IB diploma might work for them, maybe sketch out a potential 2-year course sequence. That could be really valuable time to spend, and we're happy to help. So that's that information there about the lunchtime sessions tomorrow and next Wednesday. AP and IB, again, have exams at the end of the course. AP courses are always year-long courses and have an exam in the May near the completion of the course. And IB exams also are offered. It's offered at the SL level. A standard level course has the exam at the end of that school year, and an HL course will have the HL exam at the end of the 2-year course sequence. The cost for AP and IB is relatively the same, and again, AP and IB can give students advanced placement, advanced credit once they get to college. We also want to remind students about the opportunities of Regional Occupation Program. We partner with Baldy View ROP for our ROP Career Technical Education classes. On our campus, we offer Stage Tech, Year 1 and 2, Sports Medicine, Year 1 and 2, Mental and Behavioral Health 1 and 2, Audio Production 1 and 2, and Engineering Drawing 1 and 2. Students who complete years 1 and 2 of a course pathway as described above earn recognition at graduation with a stole and notation on the graduation program. Outside of Claremont High School, there are other ROP courses students may be interested in taking, courses such as HVAC, cosmetology, welding, dental assisting, medical assistant, etc. Mrs. Miller in the Career Center can assist you if you have questions about the outside ROP classes, but the ROP classes hosted at CHS are on the student's course request form. If you're an athlete and you're hoping to play sports competitively in college, please let your counselor know. The courses that you take in high school can matter for your eligibility to play sports at the Division I and Division II level. And that is a question that students have on their course request form, so we can open up that dialogue with you so we can help you fulfill those goals coming up in the next couple of years. We will have an NC2A information night on Tuesday, April 9th at 6 o'clock. It'll be via Zoom webinar, and we will be promoting that more in the weeks ahead as we get closer to that date. What happens if you fail a class along the way? Okay, summer school is to the rescue. We will have summer school to remediate grades for English, math, science, and social science. And we also will be offering enrichment or get ahead acceleration courses this summer to include pre-calculus, chemistry, and PE. Our summer school form isn't yet open, but we do know that we will have the potential for 2 sessions in summer school. Summer school will run for 10 days per session, and sessions will be from 8 to 2:30 p.m. We will shortly, hopefully, have the summer school forms available for students. If your student is interested in alternative education, we invite them to talk to their counselor. San Antonio High School is our continuation high school, and we do have also full-time independent study. The adult school is an option for students who are within 1 month of their 18th birthday. So it's a little bit off the sophomore field right now, as well as taking the equivalent of the high school diploma test, the HiSET. So, some options for your summer planning: summer school, volunteering. It's a great way to start. Looking at potentially how you can help in your community. Some of you can also maybe volunteer in a setting that's on track with your career interests, like if you're interested in health occupations, volunteering at a local hospital or rehabilitation center. College visits, doing virtual as well as on-campus visits. We hope also that you relax and rejuvenate this summer. Summer jobs are also an option. And just doing research about careers, what interests you, where your strengths lie. And here are 2 potential places to explore as well. As indicated, summer school, Claremont High School will exist. We also will have 2 dual enrollment college classes in the summer: Art 110, which is a visual art class, drawing and sketching, and Art 199, also dual enrollment, which is history of film. This could be a student's opportunity to take the F fine art requirement needed by Cal States and UCs, or simply an opportunity to explore any of these classes in art, art drawing, or art history. The summer school registration link will be live very soon. If you're interested in taking classes outside of Claremont High School, it is very difficult to understand what other schools offer as equivalents to the classes we offer on our campus in the summer and certainly during the school year. Out-of-district coursework may not be the same content or format or pacing of our classes, and we find this especially true in mathematics and world language when students go elsewhere to take a class and then return to the high school for the year-long math or world language course. They find that oftentimes they're not well prepared, and it's very difficult, even though they spent the time and energy in the summer to get ahead. So out-of-district coursework is discouraged at our school. Students were told today that the electronic course request form is live and editable through 11:59 p.m. on February 20th. The course request form we went through in class. We did submissions. We showed students how to edit their responses, and they can edit their course requests for the next 7 days as many times as they wish, as they get more information from teachers, your parents, peers, and ask questions. But they will be, the course request form will be closed in a week from this evening. After the deadline, the course request will be then reflected on a worksheet that counselors will see and show and share with your students when we meet with them through social science. And I'll explain that in just a second. Between now and then, we do invite students to come see us at lunchtime. We're always available at lunchtime for students, so we're happy to answer questions that are feasible as well. We will be seeing students, all sophomores, between March 7th and March 13th as reflected here. And when we meet with your students, we will have a copy of their credit check. We will have a copy of their transcript. We will have the printed copy of their electronic course requests. And we will be also looking at what their goals are, both in high school as well as after high school, to make sure that the courses selected for next year are consistent with their goals. So that's what we'll be doing during the times that we meet with your students. Just also wanted to highlight that Monday, March 11th and March 12th, we're in a block schedule at Claremont High School for 2 days due to the CAST, California Science Standards Test, happening on those 2 days. So we really appreciate you listening tonight and being here tonight. Are there any questions that we wanted to answer live? I guess it appears not.
There is one question about the course description book. I think it may be from last year, and a question about if it's going to be updated. For our electives, at least, the electives catalog, which is a link that is there on our website, will give you the most updated descriptions of current and upcoming electives. Our course description book, I'm not quite sure when the new one will be released. But again, the electives catalog should be able to answer a lot of the questions that you may have about descriptions of courses.
We shared with the students today that the course description book is really a great, almost directory of classes that we've offered in the last 10 to 15 years at Claremont High School. But the negative is that it doesn't get as updated as early as we would like. But the electives form that is digital on the CHS website is really current and up to the minute. And also we showed students today that some of the course titles on the electives on the website has a hyperlink to a video. So if a student was looking at Journalism 2 or being on the Wolf Packet or the newspaper class, the hyperlink is active and students could see what students do in Journalism 2 or Wolf Packet. How do they apply? So it makes it come alive a little bit more.
Another question that came up is about summer school. Will summer classes be known before the 20th deadline? So that would be before next Tuesday. I don't believe that all of the details about summer school will be ready at that point. We do know that courses that need remediation will definitely be offered, such as English courses, social science courses,
Science, math, second
math.
semester math.
Those courses are traditionally offered and will be offered. Sometimes we will get new offerings that come later. That's another reason why we encourage students to sign up for the Remind, because as we get new information, we try to share it with them as soon as we do know, and then give them details about how they can, what they should do to amend certain requests that they made if it does impact, if summer school impacts things.
And we did suggest to students that even if you know that you're going to take pre-calculus this summer, because we know that we will offer pre-calculus in summer school as a get-ahead course, still we want students to indicate pre-calculus on their electronic form. And then once summer school is out and once we meet with them coming up in the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to then select together the math class, assuming that pre-calc is done. And when you take Claremont High School classes in the summer, then also we can see those grades immediately and make sure that you are properly placed in the next consecutive course.
Question about scholarships. Are there scholarships for rising juniors to apply for? It's a great question. Again, I would encourage you to attend the scholarship information night. I know I'm looking forward to getting that information from our Sallie Mae expert. And even if it is somewhat early for students to apply for specific scholarships. It's not too early to know the types of scholarships that exist, and they generally follow a similar timeline and format. So knowing now the types of questions they'll be asked, what the applications look like, it's definitely not too early for that. As far as specific scholarships, there's a possibility because there are so many scholarships, but many are available to students in their junior and senior year, but that is not exclusive to some that could be offered as early as rising juniors now. So again, more of that will be covered in our scholarship night. Question about dual enrollment courses. Are the dual enrollment courses with Citrus all pre-recorded? Are there any that include live instruction? Actually, yes, there are some dual enrollment classes that, many that do include live instruction. I think our history classes that are offered, as well as our English courses that are offered. Mr. Troche actually teaches some of our dual enrollment classes that meet in person and are very much so live. So again, there are, I'd say the majority of our dual enrollment classes actually are in person or live. So that,
The
again,
only
it's good.
dual enrollment class
Mhm.
that is not in person every day is English 101. Current sophomores are not eligible for English 101, but we'll talk about that next year when they're looking to plan their senior year classes. But the other dual enrollment classes are here on campus during the school day. And the 3 counseling classes listed are 0 period classes for next year. Dual enrollment is really a neat opportunity for students, and it enables them to take a college class, to have that exposure. And again, the dual enrollment classes are college classes on our campus with our faculty during our school day, where students can take a college class over a semester. And those grades in the dual enrollment classes are weighted. C's or better get an extra GPA point.
So we have a question. Do SLIB classes count for college credits or only HL?
Both count for college credits if you take the exam at the end of the course. So SL courses have an SL exam the year that the course ends. HL courses have an HL exam in the second year when that course ends.
Excellent.
Both SL and HL are weighted classes though for the GPA.
Excellent. We have a question here. When will college night take place? So every year, Claremont High School does a Just for Juniors night. So that'll be next year, usually in January. One of the best presentations I think we offer, because we get a panel of experts from every possible option in colleges, and they give us a great deal of information. We actually have that recorded from this year on the CH website. So if you want to get a little bit of a head start, right underneath where all the course selection stuff is a link for the recording of the webinar for Just for Juniors night. And that's a great place to start.
I would agree with that. I would also add, if the person is asking about the college fair, that takes place in October. So every October we have a college fair at CHS in our gymnasium.
Okay. I have a question here. What is the maximum amount of classes a junior can take? Could we take more than 7 classes if we do online classes?
7 would really be the cap, because the online classes, the dual enrollment classes, there's just one, and that one class, English 101, is not available for juniors.
We've had several questions about tech ed and being a graduation requirement. Tech ed is no longer a graduation requirement. So I know that's been answered a couple times, but it is no longer a graduation requirement. Next question, is there a particular out-of-state university that a student wishes to, if there is a particular out-of-state university that a student wishes to attend, can the student meet with the counselor in order to make sure their course selections at CHS match?
Well, all students will meet with their counselor, and if your students are looking at specific colleges and they have questions, by all means, ask them to see us at lunchtime. We're available every lunchtime.
Yeah.
School Links should also be a resource to look at though. School Links should, your students can be looking at colleges through School Links, and they can also drill down to particular schools and see more about their college admission requirements. And then the second level would be also to look at the major, because it's not just the campus, but sometimes the selectivity of a certain major. Engineering and nursing, for example, biology, very popular majors, and sometimes the selection index goes higher for those majors.
Okay. Next question, can a student enroll in AP classes and then sit for both AP and IB tests?
It depends. Not everything is equivalent. So a lot depends on what the plan is. For most students, there is a cap to the amount of testing they can do in May, whether it's AP or IB. IB exams are fixed. They do not reschedule. They do not have like a backup date. They're very fixed dates for IB exams. AP exams also occur in May at the same time as IB exams. They do permit a late test, but oftentimes it's not really feasible to do both tests, nor is it advisable for your mental health, your physical health, and it really doesn't often yield a boost when it comes to advanced placement or advanced credit in college.
Thank you. We have a question here. Are all IB-SL courses only 1 year? The answer to
Yes.
that is correct. They are only 1 year. Is there any help CHS can provide to students who want to find out the best career fit for them?
In School Links, there is a to-do list and it includes career exploration, career videos. There's lots of fun things they can do. Also, if your student got access to Big Future by taking the PSAT in October of 23, My Big Future also has a career exploration component. And in that, you'll also see, like if you're exploring, say, nursing, then they will also suggest potential classes to take in high school or maybe allied fields that are similar to nursing. If maybe nursing per se isn't your favorite, maybe you'll discover physical therapy, or maybe you'll discover some other allied health field that you're working with patients and it takes a certain skill set that appeals to you, certain career growth too.
Question, since AP Pre-Calc is being offered next year and I'm taking 3 Pre-Calc this year, I still take the AP test?
Hard to say. The AP Pre-Calculus test is not going to be administered at Claremont High School this spring. But if you wanted to sit for the next AP exam in spring of 25, that could be an option. College Board produces books to help students prepare for the AP exam, but you may also want to talk with the AP Pre-Calculus teacher next year to see about the advisability of that.
Perfect. Next question, are the art courses over summer? Do they meet the requirements? So art courses for the summer will be our Citrus dual enrollment art courses will meet both the CHS grad requirements and the UC Cal State entrance requirements for fine art. And then we had a question of, will this webinar be recorded and where will it be? Yes, we are recording the webinar. This webinar will be uploaded to the CHS Counseling YouTube channel, hopefully tonight, and it'll be on our website by tomorrow morning. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This concludes our webinar. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.
Good night.